This episode is brought to you by Ariston Specialties in Bloomfield, Connecticut, makers of amazing olive oils and other Greek delights. Check them out online at aristonspecialties.com. That's Ariston, Ariston, specialties.com. Find our party podcast of episodes of the all-new Food Schmooze at faithmiddleton.com. That's our address, faithmiddleton.com. This time, we're going to give you ideas if you ever decide to throw a Beat the Winter Blues party. The All-Star Gang is here. Chris Prosperi, co-owner of Metro Beast Restaurant in Simsbury, Connecticut. Joanne Church of New London, Connecticut, and Carl Franklin in Quaker Hill. He's also our editor and the man who has really given Beat the Winter Blues parties. Hey, everybody.
Yes.
Hi.
We need this.
Boy, we need this. I mean, Beat COVID parties is okay with me if everybody tests before they come in. But
Yeah.
Okay, so Carl, can I start with you because
Sure.
you you've really given these parties, and it am I right? It can be kind of anything you want to do, as fancy as you
Sure.
want to get, or as lowbrow as you want to get.
Yeah. The whole idea is like, February comes around, it's post-Christmas and, post-Happy New Year's and everything. And everybody just gets that kind of winter blues, right? The blahs. And you just throw some sort of party where you've got sunny accoutrement. Like I remember one year, Kelly, my wife, got these, I don't know what you would call them. They look like paper suns. They were yellow. They were just like these paper things that you turn around and make a ball. And she hung them from the ceiling. And, it's just everybody brings a dish. We did it that way. And I make something and pass it around. And it's just a lot of fun.
It's the summer foods in the winter, I hope.
Yeah. And you know what? If we don't really know as we're doing this show how bad the COVID thing is going to be. And so
Right.
we want to invite you also to do this party armchair style where you just use your imagination.
Yeah, I mean, we've done things like we haven't done it during COVID or since COVID, but we've done events. I've done events where, you have a requirement to be either, vaccinated or a negative test or something like that. Some people find that off-putting, but, hey, this is serious business. And, I don't want people to have to feel they have to wear a mask, but they can if they want, if they feel better that way.
You can do this virtually too, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
I've participated in a few, I have to admit. They were kind of like these corporate after-work parties, and we each made something for ourselves.
Right.
And we just hung out.
And you talk about it.
Yeah, and it was in the middle of the winter when you couldn't do anything else. And I can remember sitting even on the sofa under a blanket, eating some soup and just having a great time.
Yeah.
Do you mean you did them on Zoom or something like that?
Yes, yeah, it was actually, it was on Zoom.
Me too.
Yeah.
I have done that too. I've had cocktail parties with
Yes.
Joanne and Jeannie on Zoom.
Anything to get rid of the winter blues.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah, a light box is also good.
Yeah.
Is it that way with you guys too? That the worst part for me is the looking out the window at 4 o'clock and saying, "How is it getting dark already?"
I know. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
But then
Yeah.
when you go over the winter solstice,
Yeah, it starts changing
we
again.
pass that, and it starts a little tiny bit.
Yeah, but it goes so slow.
Yeah.
I remember looking online the other day, and it said, "Oh, sunset is 1 minute and 30 seconds later today," and I know that adds up. But
Yeah.
too slow.
But boy, there was a time just a few days ago where it was warm out here in
Yes.
Connecticut. And actually in the evening, I was able to sit out on my porch and light some tiki torches and, have a cigar. It
Nice.
was great.
Really
Yeah.
nice. I like that tiki torch idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish you
what
could
did-
have them
what-
inside.
What did you serve at your last one, Carl? I'm curious.
Well, I do a potluck, so everybody just brings something. And I have a good friend, an old friend, I won't mention him by name, but he he constantly asks me, "Are we going to have a Franklin Fest this year?"
Yep.
You know, and I've been doing Keto Fest, so I don't like to have too many parties, so I haven't done them in a long, long time. But people, he would bring like go to Subway and get a couple of large grinders and cut them up into pieces. If somebody doesn't want to cook. People bring casseroles, they bring whatever. I would usually serve a protein like a filet mignon. I served a reverse sear filet mignon. I'm not the first person to do this, so I'm not taking any credit for it.
What does it mean?
Well, what it means is you cook low and slow first to reach 10 degrees below what you want to serve it at.
Oh,
So if you want medium rare filet mignon, you take it out at 120, and you cook like at 250, really, really low heat until it reaches. And it takes less than an hour to bring filet mignons up to 120. Chris is nodding. He knows all about this. So then what you do is when you take them out, you sear them in a screaming hot cast iron pan, little oil or butter or whatever it is on each side. And then you let it rest 5 minutes, and then it's perfect medium rare.
wow, that sounds great, Carl.
Yeah. When I do it at
Yum.
home, Carl, I do the searing outside because in my kitchen, my fan doesn't go to the outside. It's just one of those filter fans.
Yeah.
So, you
Hotel
want to
fan.
sear this really hot. So if you don't have that, you could literally do this. I put it on a cast iron pan on my grill, close the lid,
Yes.
walk away for 10, 15 minutes, right? And just let it get scorching hot.
Yeah.
And then sear it in that, and then all the smoke goes outside.
Right.
So,
Yum.
I live close to downtown Guilford, and close to the Green. And there's a restaurant. I searched all around till I could find a restaurant that would serve me outside all winter long as it wasn't, raining or snowing. And so I go there almost every day. I love
Is
their
that the
crab
one you
cakes.
took me to?
Yeah.
The Italian place?
No, that's another place.
Oh, okay.
They closed down the outside for the winter.
Oh.
But this place has a roof over the outside.
Nice.
It has one whole side that's open to the air. It's perfect.
Wow.
Nice.
And so it's the only thing I will do because I don't go inside during this
Yeah.
variant stuff. And so, and I bring my dog and his heated dog bed. And it is so much fun. I mean, I've had about 8,000 crab cakes in this place. But I encourage you, if you can't stand being in anymore, feel free not only just to take a walk, but to go out and, find a restaurant that serves outside still.
Well, Chris, your restaurant has an outdoor seating area, and I thought it was wonderful. But then again, I went during the summer, but you close it down in the...
We close it down for the winter just because we don't have a covering. That makes a big difference, having a covering.
Yeah.
And not just for rain and snow, just it does help with the wind and the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joanne Church, let's say it's a time when we can have people over, or it's only outside and people dress
I'm
normal.
outside. My
Okay.
party is outside to get rid of the winter blues. We just go out there and sit around the solo fire pit and have
There
a
you go.
spiked
Oh,
hot
yeah.
chocolate party.
Nice.
Yes.
Great.
The winter has the best sunsets. It's the most colorful orange-red sunsets. So I would love to have my friends at sunset time, but a hot chocolate and dessert party after dinner is a real winner too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I make a
Nice.
large batch of hot chocolate using coconut milk because that's what we drink in our house. And Swiss Miss make it easy, but I'll put in some Nestle semi-sweet chocolate or even crush up Hershey's Kisses so they don't
nice.
melt all the way. So you get those little bits of chocolate in your
Nice.
chocolate,
Nice.
hot chocolate. So outside, set up chairs around the solo and I set up a hot chocolate bar. So it's going to have ground cinnamon, cardamom, and cayenne pepper. And at the dollar store, you can buy the salt and pepper shakers. So it makes it easy for people to put it in without having to
Right.
reach in and pinch
That's
it.
a great
That's a
idea.
great idea.
It's a
Super
great idea.
So you tell them to eat dinner first.
Well,
And then come
absolutely. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
if you're it, you know what? Sometimes dessert first if you want that sunset.
Yeah, that's true.
On the table is also going to have whipped cream, marshmallows that we're going to roast and put in our hot
Nice.
chocolate or just eat, vanilla flavored vodka, Kahlua, bourbon, and white creme de menthe. And I only say white creme de menthe because I still have leftover from New Year's peppermint stick martinis. And then they have these fun peppermint stick straws. So those are fun if you can find them because they will hold up to the hot chocolate, not like most of the straws. As soon as you put it in something warm, they'll dissipate. But, you're not thinking about the winter when you're roasting a marshmallow. You're all talking about how perfect it's coming, or are you going to set it on fire so you get that char or crisp on it?
So, Joanne, does any heat come off the Solo fire pit?
Yes, heat comes off of it, but they call it smokeless, and you can maintain so the flames it doesn't create a lot of smoke, but the flames don't have to be high, and you put a grate on it, so if you wanted to put a pan of hot chocolate there, you could do
So I
that.
have one of these, and I got it because it was smokeless. We got actually a call from our neighbor that they couldn't take the smoke, and I couldn't either. Like, it was hard, just a regular fire pit. So this thing is just made in such a way that it has vents at the top and at the bottom, and the smoke goes down into the vents, and it creates a vacuum, and it burns the smoke. It is literally smokeless.
And it doesn't get hot on the bottom, so you can move it around anywhere in your yard, so the party can be somewhere different every time.
This is the Solo we're talking
Yes.
about. Right.
Yes.
Well, I would
it.
say that if you have it on a wood deck, you want to get a very good heat shield. Ask me how I know. If you come over to my house someday, I'll show you the hole that I put in my deck that with the black around it.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
No.
I put mine on the ground. But also, I'm going to make a dessert charcuterie with like mini cream puffs and mini eclairs, which we have tubs of in our freezer, and they're winners. Graham crackers.
Wait a minute.
Tubs.
Hold on.
Yes,
Hold on.
tubs of cream puffs and mini eclairs.
Nice.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Where do you get them?
I think we got them at Aldi.
Yes,
Okay.
I love Aldi's or Trader Joe's, either one.
They actually call them a charcuterie plate.
No, I'm saying that I create one with these cream puffs and mini
I see.
eclairs, and I like to make bite-sized desserts and put them on a toothpick, so you don't want to have to touch anything because you might have gloves on because it's
That's
cold.
right.
So and then you just take it off the toothpick, bite it, and then throw it in the toothpick in the fire.
Sure.
And bring your own mug because I'm not cleaning like 6 to 8 mugs. And then at the end,
Smart.
no plates, just napkins. And at the end, throw your napkin in the fire
as
too.
well. Wow, no cleanup.
No cleanup.
Here's another thing I do. Anytime I throw a party, I ask people to bring their own Tupperware containers for take home because there's usually a lot of stuff left over and it's going to go in the trash unless somebody takes it home.
I'm just sitting here thinking, Carl, I think I have to be invited to your house for one of these parties. Because everything it's like, well, actually, everything everybody's saying has got me going a little nuts.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that we are doing all these new Food Schmooze parties here. You can find us at this address, faithmiddleton.com. And I'm with my beloved gang. And we, this time we were saying, Carl's suggestion, how do you beat the winter blues? Because in seasons that are really COVID-free, he has done this quite a lot. And so, or you can have people test before they come in the door. So let's see, do we need to take a break?
Sure, let's take a break.
Okay, we're going to take, this is like the quickest break possible.
Right.
So we're going to take a blink of an eye break, I'm going to call it. So we'll take a break, and then we'll be right back with more Food Schmooze. I'm Faith Middleton with the gang, the Food Schmooze gang, and we are at faithmiddleton.com. That is our new address, and we have a riot doing these. And so, Chris Prosperi, often I go to you first because you have so much experience as both a home cook and as a chef in a restaurant. So what if you're giving a Beat the Winter Blues party and, at a time when it's safe to do that, or you do it outside like Joanne does and like I do, what are you going to make?
Yeah, and let me preface that by saying, does it have to be a party? Because I try to beat the winter blues every day, whether I'm having a party or not.
Touché, sir.
And today is a good example because today, where I live, up in the northern part of the state, it's snowing. And I look out the window, and it's big, really nasty, wet flakes of snow. So I'm going to beat the winter blues today by hitting the freezer after we get off here, and I am going to pull. I have 2 things in there, I have many things in there, but two of my summer things is I freeze corn, and I know we've talked about this hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Like whenever you get corn in the summer, I get a couple extra, and not a lot. I get 1 or 2 ears extra, and after I'm done eating and cooking, I cut it up, put it in a freezer bag, throw it in the freezer, date it, and I also do the same thing with the broth that I make out of the corn cobs. I reduce that down and put it in quart containers. So today, I'm going to make a summer quotes, air quotes, summer corn chowder. And it's perfect because it brings flavors of the summer, right? But it warms you up from the inside because it's pretty nasty up here. And it's like one of those things. So I always start planning my winter blues in like August.
What's the liquid base for your chowder? Do you use cream or milk?
No,
or
I
both?
use that. I use a little bit of milk, but mostly it's that corn broth that I make, and I make tons of it because when I'm done, even if I'm at home or at work, whenever we're done cutting up corn, I take the corn, throw it in a pot, cover it with cold water, the corn cobs, right? The corn's been eaten, right?
Yeah.
And I take them, put them in a pot, cook them with a little bit of onion, and just cook that down. And then I strain it, and I put it back on the stove and reduce it. And then I get this corn broth, and in season. It doesn't work as well with corn you buy in the grocery store off season, but I don't know, something about the corn when it's in season. You make that broth, and it's not just the flavor. It brings back the smell of the corn and everything. It's just a great tool to have in your freezer.
Wow, you're saying
Awesome.
this while it's snowing.
Yeah.
On the northeast corner. This is really great.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, as soon as I put that pot on the stove and it starts simmering, the smile
aroma.
just grows.
I remember when I was a kid, the blizzard of 78
Oh, yeah, that buried us.
4 feet of snow down here on the coast. But I remember my mother making donuts while the snow came down.
Nice.
And that was...
Oh, the smell.
Oh,
Oh, that's beautiful.
Did she fry them on the top of the stove?
I think she had a kettle of lard.
See, now we're talking my language.
Now we're into this is our thing. We love lard on this show.
Yeah.
Good lard. We like good lard.
Yeah, that's right. Hey,
so-
I'm sorry, but I missed you guys doing shows over the holiday season. We weren't able to do any because of scheduling, and everybody got really busy, and some of us got sick. And
Yeah.
so, how was your holidays, Faith? How was your holiday?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I really basically stayed in, took my dog for a walk 3 times a day, and went to my Baloo's in downtown Guilford and had crab cakes practically every single day of the holiday. And, I had them deliver a pizza to my house, which is like almost a lemon cheese pizza with white sauce and sausage.
That sounds yummy.
Wow.
That sounds
and
summery.
clams, sausage, and white sauce.
Wow.
There was lots of garlic. It was wonderful.
Yum.
Yep.
Wow.
Very cool.
So when I do armchair stuff, like just pretending and hoping that I can either be outside or, get to somebody's house where it's just a few people and everybody's tested and all that stuff. So I was thinking, well, I had all these plans I was going to talk about. And then I opened up today's New York Times, and there was one of my most favorite recipe creators in the universe, this is Melissa Clark.
Oh, yeah.
In the New York Times. She is so good, I can't even believe it. So what does she do today? And I looked at this recipe, and I thought, oh, my God, I this is what I'm going to bring to Carl's.
Okay.
Potluck.
So it was a pasta, a lemon, with lemons, fresh lemon juice in it, almonds. I don't remember what the protein was, but let's say it's, because we all love this, pancetta.
Yeah.
But it could be anything. It could be chicken, it could be shrimp, it could be anything that you can put in there. And so she does a brown butter sauce, and then the almonds she cooks in the brown butter.
Yeah.
And then she, does a pasta and puts this all together, with this little bit of protein. It looked so unbelievable to me. I just thought, oh my God, she's a rock star to me.
Wow.
Agreed.
Yeah, Melissa Clark, New York Times.
Can I share with you one thing that I made over for Christmas dinner this year?
Please.
So I had we had all 4 daughters and their significant others for Christmas dinner this year, which hasn't happened in a long, long, long time. And I used to make, before I went low carb, oven potatoes, and I got a request to make those again, so I did. And so what I do is I get a little bag of small potatoes, because I want to cut them up to be really small, but uniform, little chunks, right? And then I put them in a big bowl with olive oil and crushed garlic and onion powder. We have onion allergies here at the house, so Kelly does, so she can't have real onions. But you could put in crushed onions too. Herbe de Provence.
Wow.
That's the secret weapon. White pepper and salt and a little sugar too, because that helps them, brown. And so I mix all that together, put it in the oven. And this year, though, I didn't use olive oil. I used, wait for it, duck fat.
Duck fat?
Yeah.
Oh, that is a special holiday.
Makes me want to just roast a duck to get the duck fat.
I know, right? So anyway, they were a hit. They were a huge hit.
Awesome.
I bet they
nice.
were.
I love potatoes like that.
I was once yelled at because there were so many containers of duck fat I would buy duck breasts, save the fat, put it in a container, put it in the freezer. There was not room for a single other thing in the freezer.
My gosh.
It was like 14 cans of duck fat.
Oh, I say you can never have too much.
I just bought a frozen duck from Big Y. It's in the freezer. I have never cooked a duck before. I've made duck breasts, the classic way where you slowly render out the fat and crisscross it and all that. But I have no idea what I'm going to do. Maybe a confit? What do you guys think?
I love confit.
Carl, can I give you a tip from Ina Garten?
Yes.
This is one of the best things, tips I think she's ever given. And Chris might know this, but what she does is she puts a pot of, like a soup pot of boiling water on the stove. Mm. And then she takes the whole duck, and she lowers it, slowly, carefully into the boiling water, puts it on a simmer, and lets it stay in there for about, I think, 20 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. But anybody can look this up. And the fat drains out of the duck completely, and then she can roast the duck in the oven. She takes it out of the water and roasts the duck in the oven, and all the fat has been drained out of it.
But the fat floats to the top, so you can skim it off and use it, right?
Yeah, if you want to save it, best way to do it.
It comes out of the boiling water,
yeah,
and she puts it in a pan and puts it in the oven.
Wow.
And if she wants something on top of it, she does that. She's terrific. So
cool.
That's just
an
easy
they do
tip.
that. I think they do that in Chinese restaurants too, where they boil the duck first really quickly.
Do they?
I think I don't think they do it as long as she does it, but I think they do it or steam it then fry it just to get some of that fat out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know how they're very sort of mahogany colored when they're hanging in the Chinese restaurant windows?
Yeah.
In Chinatown, you just die. I could just die. I could eat. I wish I could break in there at night.
They have the best stuff.
Just start pulling the ducks down.
Yeah.
Load up your trunk. That'd be an interesting police blotter. 15 ducks stolen from local restaurant.
Can you see the news? The news in New York. We have something to report. There is a duck thief on the loose. It's like, so, wow, this was really fun. I'm sure we could go on, and if you have a dish that's easy for you to do and you have safe people coming to your house, I encourage you to be safe. Okay.
We are doing a Beat the Winter Blues party this year. It's going to be inside. But
really?
I'm going to require people who have symptoms to get tested and make sure they're negative before they come.
Okay, great.
Be safe.
Great.
That's it.
Yeah, be safe.
Okay. All right. Love you all.
Love you too.
See you soon.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
We're at faithmiddleton.com.